Bob with Bob's Leatherworks in Raleigh, North Carolina. And what I've got to show you today is a butt cover for a Henry Big Boy rifle in 357-38. And this is one of my returning customers who brought me this rifle, and he had a large loop put on them. They don't come with large loops, as you may know from having looked at their website. So this was put on by a gunsmith, and then he brought it over to me because he wanted me to make him a butt cover for his new Henry Big Boy. He is the gentleman that also brought me the rifle for the first Evil Roy butt cover, from which I made several videos, and Henry kind of caused me some problems by moving the Evil Roy engraving on the stock, but that's another video. So for this one, it took me 2 tries to get this pattern just right for cutting the leather, for how it goes over this curved brass butt plate, and to make full contact with the stock. As you can see, I got 7 rounds onto this one. The loop leather is sewn directly onto the cover, and just to turn it and show you again, there is the Latigo lacing that goes through here. On the label for the spool, it's called Kodiak lace. They make it from oil tan sides cut to 5/32 width on the lace, and that's a 5/32 hole punched into the leather, and that is why it fits real good and tight. Okay. I waxed these inside and out for waterproofing, and on top of that I put a very thin piece of rubber non-slip material. Let me swing the rifle around. You can't see it, but to show you where the contact area is better. Okay, on this brass butt plate, inside here and inside here, I lined this cover on the inside with that material, so that right here on the corners where it's making contact, here and here, there is this rubber material to keep the brass away from the leather. The idea, of course, is when brass bullets are in leather and bullet loops and you leave them in there too long, then you're going to get a corrosion reaction, or that blue-green stuff that some of you may have seen. So I put it in here, and right here where it's making contact, here and here, not all the way through because of the rounding, okay, that material is. If over time this one changes shape and starts to make contact, the rubberized material will be there. Okay. So I sew them all around for the look, and this is the cheek pad side. Over here, where I usually put initials and an American flag, he decided not to have that done this time. Okay. Now, this is the large loop, and I'm going to put a lever wrap on it, and I'm going to spin the rifle back around. Or actually, no, I'm going to leave it the way it is for the moment. And let's talk about lever wrap kits for a second before I get started showing you how this goes on. Some of you have bought them from me already, but maybe after this video you'll get the idea that you can put it on yourself. I sell these in kits. They come like this. This particular kit is for the Winchester 1894, or all of the other levers that are very much the same, the 92 and the 1866, the 73, the Marlin 336. This size, this length, will fit onto, and this is an 1894 lever, by the way. It will fit right onto here, and you're going to get in the kit your length of material for your rifle. This is 6.5 inches for this large loop. You're going to get wax thread, much longer than you're going to need, and 2 blunt lacing needles. These don't have sharp tips on them. And I put the wax lace through them for you already, so they're ready to go. And you get a piece of finishing suede. This material grabs onto itself very strongly, and you can either tie this knot, which I'll show you how to do in the video right here, which will cover where the lace goes from the trigger guard side over to the loop side, the lever side, and all you need to do is tie it in such a way that it grabs on and covers the first piece of material, the lace, that's coming from the trigger guard side to the loop side. The other way that you can use this is you can go straight across here and then use your excess lace and tie a, just going around until you run out of lace and tie a knot, and that will do the same job, and we'll cover it up using this material. Okay. So let me set that aside. Here's the kit, just to show you a little closer. There's the lace all tied up with a twist tie, needles in it. There's the lever wrap itself and the finishing piece, and you get an instruction sheet with photographs. But I have not yet made a video on how to start this, so I'm going to show that to you right now. Okay, so you're going to set this aside for the time being, and we're going to be sewing or lacing the baseball stitch onto the lever wrap to get it started. And the first thing I'm going to do is to put it from top to bottom, just like that. Take it through, and then set your lever wrap where it's going to go. Get this around here like that. Take this through here, okay, right there like that, and put it in there where it's going to go. Let's get a better look at that. Okay, just like this. This is where your lever wrap is going to go. Also, as you notice, there's a reinforcing piece of suede, same material that the finishing piece is, right here, that is going to give you an additional amount of cushioning. Okay. Now, let's get this where it needs to be. And this can be awkward in the beginning, but it's okay because you're going to be grabbing onto it and holding it while you're working. If you can put your, here I need to get this over in through here, like that, and around here, like that. Okay, there we go. Now, let's get this one through there, like that. Okay. And like I said, this is awkward to begin with. Let's get the lever undone. And pull through. There we go. Okay, and get this back in here like this. Now, let us, it's from underneath to underneath, and then my hand went way out of the shot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these needles together, okay, and pull on this lace until such time, let's get it from here, and get it evened up. There we go. All right, now I have this evened up. And the lever wrap is inside the lever. Okay. Trying to get this to where you can see it better. There we are. Okay, right there. This lace is on the trigger guard side. It is coming from the underneath, okay, the back side of the lever wrap, and the same thing on the other side. Let me see if I can get this to where you can see it, where it starts, right there. Okay. So now I'm going to crisscross, get one of them, and take this one that's closest to you as an example, crisscross it, okay, and get it over, excuse me, under the next hole on the far side, take it around, okay, and take this one, okay, and bring it around to the far side on the other one. Okay. And now we have the first stitch established on the lever wrap side, or on the lever side. Okay. Tucking that back in there again. Let me show you this right here. I'm going to bring it up to the camera as close as I can, and that is where you're going to start it. Right there, just like that. This one is on the trigger guard side, right there. And it's loose right now, just to show you. And then there's the crisscross. This comes up under and outside and over, and the other one does exactly the same thing. It comes from under, back across, and under again. That's how you start. Now I'm going to put her down, okay, and create the next stitch setup. And this is where you're going to be snugging it up. Okay. Just like that. Now let's double check and make sure that we have everything even all the way out. And I don't. So I'm going to back up, and I'm going to get myself a pair of, now if you're going to use a pair of needle nose pliers, be really careful about how you handle this thread, because this stuff can tear even though it's waxed. Okay, and now I have, let's double check, I have evened it back up again, okay, and from here on in it ought to stay even. So make sure you double check when you're putting it on, snugging it up. Now I'm just using my fingers to get this started, pushing, pulling, and adjusting the position. And now the next important step is to make sure that you're establishing a pattern, okay, where you maintain the over-under of the stitches. So here I am now running this under, and this one will go under, over, under, over, just like that. So that each time you make a stitch, you are going over and under the same one all the way up. Okay, this waxy material will help you keep the position, but this is going to fight you back until such time you've got about halfway through. So right now I'm going to pause the video and get this thing established onto the lever, nice and tight. and firm, coming all the way through. So here we go for a pause, grabbing my pause button, and I'm going to, and let me show you this before I pause it. Here we go. Now I have it started right there, just like that. I have it started, okay, with the first 2 lacing stitches. There is the lace coming around from the trigger guard back to the lever, so it locks it on, can't slide, and those are the first 2 stitches. So I'm giving you as much as I can to show you how it looks when you first start it, and then I'm going to continue the stitch. Halfway through I'll stop and then start again and finish it up. So hang on for just a sec. Okay, what we've got here is an upside down shot, or maybe it is correct, I'm not sure, because my camera monitor is showing things upside down. But regardless, here is the lever wrap, and I've got a few stitches in it, and what I want to show you is how to keep this going in a uniform pattern. So here we go. And just by way of showing you what we've got done so far, let me turn this, and here is the first part of the stitching right here. Let me bring this back into the middle as I'm looking at my camera monitor. Okay, so I am going underneath and pulling this through. Okay. Get this one, pull it through, or put it into, popped right back out, put it right back into the next hole, right there. Okay, let me move it up a little bit. Okay, and then when you've got both of them done, get this squared up in here and pull it tight. And use your fingers to help you pinch. You don't want to put undue pressure on the holes that are in the leather. Okay, reset my camera a little bit. Can't get it downward anymore, so I have to move forward a little bit. There we go. Let me back out a little bit too. Zoom out a little bit. There we are. This is definitely awkward trying to do it and keep it in front of the camera lens. But I'm pinching on it and I pulled it tight. Okay, here we go again with my right hand, finding a hole, the next hole in the lever wrap, and then I drop that one, come back up with the other one, get it into the next hole on this side. There we go. Okay. And there it is again. Snug it up. So you got to keep bringing it back because it's going to slide around as you're putting it on. Okay. And keep snugging it up. Okay. Pinch it in, pull it tight. Do one more, and then I'm going to pause again and work on it without having to keep it in front of the camera lens. There we go. Okay, that seems to be working out for you seeing what I'm doing. Keep that centered and keep pulling on this nicely and keep it snugged up onto the lever and get it nice and snug. There we go. Just like that. So now we've come this far. There's the wrap, and there's what I've got left to do. So let me go to pause, and then I'll come back when I've got it mostly done. Alright, here we are, almost done. Okay, got a towel on my lap, and camera's pointing down into my lap. Hope that shows up properly on your computer or wherever you're watching the video. But I've got her laced up all the way to the point of where it hits the sharper curve. And I stopped here to show you that right now it's splayed out like this, and I'm not going to be able to video this and do it at the same time because I've got the rifle in a kind of an awkward spot for tightening, because when I tighten it, the rifle's going to fall like this. So again, if you can get your rifle into a safe, into a vise, and clamp it down on the foregrip, then you'll be able to work with it without having to hold the rifle, because I'm not using a vise to do that, and so the rifle's all over the place. So I'm going to go back into pause again, and I'm going to finish this, and then I'll show you the finished installation. Again, you're going to, before I go to pause, you're going to have to keep pushing and pulling on, not pulling, but pushing on this and snugging it up with your fingers, and then getting it to the point where you feel it's going to take only a smaller amount of pulling on the lace to get it on. So back into pause. Okay, here we are back at the end of the installation for the wrap. I have the leather wrap coming all the way around to right there. Now, as I learned when I was putting it on to finish it, that the last part of it, the way I had it measured out, was not going to make this turn without bulging out and not snugging up tight like you see it here. So I had to cut off about 3/4 of an inch of it. Still gets up to where it needs to be. I just was a little over enthusiastic, I guess, in how much of this material I was going to get onto the lever. So I determined that I needed to cut off this 3/4 inch piece, and that's showing you the underside and the top. So from now on, these will be 5 inches long, not 5 3/4 inches long. Now let's get to the finishing piece right here. We're going to start out on the lever, inside the lever, and loop it around one time, okay, where this piece coming through is right there on top. In other words, spread this out a little bit and you'll see it, okay, or underneath, regardless. But put a loop on here like this. Now bring this around over to the trigger guard side. Again, let me show it to you here. That's coming through on top of the one that's going underneath. Okay. Keep this a little shorter because you need this to pull through. This one's the longer one right there. Okay. So now bring it up over to where we're going to be covering this piece of lacing material on the trigger guard side. Put this through the loop. Tip through the loop. Watch out for that. The loop. Square them up a little bit. Even them up a little bit. Okay. And then start to tighten it down. And what you'll wind up with once I get this snugged up, that you'll have two pieces down here that you can trim off. Let me show those to you. So you'll have these two where you can trim them off or leave them long, depending upon how you want to do it. Okay, and the goal of covering over that piece of lacing material, okay, is now accomplished. So you have a hanging piece. Let's close the lever. Okay, to show it to you a little better. Here, we get it under the camera. Alright, so there it is. You have one on one side, one on the other side, and you can trim them down, put points on them if you want to, and you have completed this installation. Okay, so let's show you again the whole thing. There are the bullet loops on the, sorry about that, here we go. There are the bullet loops on the back, on the cover. Okay. And here is the completed lever wrap, okay, with these two ends sticking down. There you go. And of course, even having cut off 3/4 of an inch, I've still got my fingers well inside the lever wrap. I know this was an awkward video, but I was learning a few things as I was going along. This is the first time I've put a wrap onto this big loop on a Henry big boy. So again, as I showed you earlier, here is a lever for a Winchester 1894. It goes on just the same way, and you won't have a coming back curve, which was what problem I had here. It was coming back a little too tight. It was spreading the material. This one, I've got this well figured out. So this one will go on nice and tight. And here's that same knot as this one, only this one's been made a little shorter. I trimmed this one down. You will wind up with two blunt pointed lacing needles and some extra material, because the other way that you can finish this, if you would like, is to just put one piece of it, of this material, put one thickness of it around, and then just tie it off in a curl until you get to where you've covered everything up. But I just like the way these look. So that's it from Bob's Leather Works in Raleigh, North Carolina. Thanks for watching. If you want to order anything, give me a call at the phone number on the end title of the video, and my website is just about to be completely updated and changed, so look for that, bobsleatherworks.com. Today is one day before Veterans Day, November 10th, 2015. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye for now.